There are big changes happening right now in the real estate industry that will impact you as a buyer or seller very soon. Hey, welcome back to the Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm stoked you're here today because we're talking about a very important situation right now in the news cycle for the real estate world that is going to have a large impact on you as buyers or sellers here in the near future and probably far away. So we're going to unpack it all today from my perspective. We are, professional realtors here in Clark County, Washington. This is what we do full time. We serve 60 to 80 client groups a year to give you guys perspective. And so I'd love to share what's happening right now in the world of clear cooperation, portal syndication, and seller choice for their listings. By the way, if you're new here, don't forget to sign up for Weekend Happenings with Hannah, our weekly email. We send it out every single week. It's about fun local events that are happening in Clark County, Washington. We handwrite it just for you guys literally every week, so please sign up for it down below. We promise we won't spam you too. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening right now in the real estate world and what the changes are. All of this is centered around a rule called clear cooperation. Clear cooperation rule was put into place by the National Association of Realtors, which is a trade organization. So it's not a law, but it's a trade organization that really controls the entire real estate industry and real estate agents who are known as realtors. That's what you get to go by if you are a part of that trade organization. So I want to read you guys the exact clear cooperation policy here so you can know what it says. Within 1 business day of marketing a property to the public, the listing broker must submit the listing to the MLS for cooperation with other MLS participants. Public marketing includes, but is not limited to, flyers displayed in windows, yard signs, digital marketing on public-facing websites, brokerage website displays, including IDX and 𝐂𝐬, digital communications, marketing, emails, multi-brokerage listing shared networks, and applications available to the general public. So basically what this policy says is if you're selling your home with a licensed realtor who's a part of the National Association of Realtors and you're using the MLS, which is all tied together, basically if you're putting your home on the open market, you cannot just, pass out flyers for it and sell it to your friend because you passed out a flyer to them. I can't put the sign up and then, put the listing live on the MLS a week later. It has to be live for everyone online through the MLS, which goes out to Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com, all those sites, within 1 day. And so this is where the controversy comes in. This policy is heavily enforced. If you are a realtor and you break these rules and you advertise 2 days ahead of time and then you put your listing live, you can get turned in and get some really big fines. We're talking many thousands of dollars for something that really, I think, is not that big of a deal. Now, what's happened recently is a real estate company by the name of Camas has come out publicly and taken a stance against this policy. And they've said, hey, when sellers have more options, they get better results. And if our sellers want to sell their listing not on the MLS and they don't want it to be everywhere on Redfin and Zillow and they don't want to go through the traditional process of selling a home, then they should be able to do that. So that is the stance that Camas has taken, and they've been very aggressive and public about it. And they've created a system called private exclusives, and you can only see it on their website or in their office if you use one of their buyer's agents, because it's private and exclusive to their office only. On the other side of the fight, we have Zillow. You guys probably all know Zillow because they're the #1 search platform for buyers and sellers, and really anyone goes on Zillow, right? We're all Zillowing all day. Zillow came out in April and they said, hey, if you do not put your listing on the MLS as a realtor or as a seller, and you privately market it off market in this coming soon private exclusives from Camas or another place, then we're never going to show it on Zillow. We're going to ban it from Zillow because we have AI and algorithms that are going to be able to figure that out. And so they took a stance against these private listings, citing fair housing violations and that, hey, consumers need access to all of the listings, ideally all in one central place as they have been for the last, 15 years on Zillow. So that's exactly what's happening. I have a lot of thoughts on what's going on here. Let me share with you kind of what's happening behind the scenes, the pros, the cons, proponents, opponents, and then I'll share my opinion. Proponents of getting rid of the clear cooperation law say that hey, sellers should be able to sell their home however they want. They shouldn't have to be tied up by all of these industry rules that regulate when they put the listing on the market, that basically force most people to go on the market. The example I've heard given a couple times during this whole debacle is, if you have a house for sale, you're a seller, and you want your realtor to go pass out flyers at the Little League game, but you don't want to put it online because you want to have some privacy and you just want to share it with your Little League parents first, why can't you do that? Why can't you do that, right? When we think about selling a car or selling some other sort of product on Facebook Marketplace, because that's where people sell stuff these days, you can sell it however you want. You're not forced to put it on one central marketplace. And like cars, there's different search sites for those. And so you can choose to put it wherever you want, whenever you want. And also proponents say that as a seller, if you're listing on the market and it's accumulating days on market, you can see that days on market counter, that is also hurting your ability to sell for the best price. Opponents of this change, people who say, hey, clear cooperation needs to stay in place. We need the MLS to stay together. We need all the listings to go out to all the buyers and all the sites. They cite that this is a fair housing violation, that there's going to be minority groups that are hurt by this action, which is absolutely valid, because the listings will not reach the most amount of people. They're called private exclusive listings for a reason, right? They're exclusive. Less people are going to see them. You have to know people. You have to be in a network. So I think that's absolutely true. Opponents also say that it does not create an efficient marketplace, which I think is also valid. With everything being in one central place in the MLS, it's very efficient. We have taken the MLS system in the United States for granted the last 15 years because it's so amazing at doing its job, and we really have a good thing going here. Most other countries, they don't have anything like it. It's way harder to buy and sell real estate. It takes longer. It usually costs less. It costs less fees because there's less people who have, their slice of the pie. There's less people that need to be a part of it. But it is very, very efficient and overall just the best system here in the United States. So here's some things to consider when you hear these different real estate companies and tech companies coming out with what they're doing. Compass has money to make in this fight. They are using the private exclusives as a way to get more buyers, because that's the only way they're going to access them, and to maybe get more listings, right? Market this as another great way to sell your home, and to recruit more agents. That's kind of like behind the scenes of the industry, but if you are a big real estate company, you want more agents, you can sell more homes so you can make more money. And I know that there's motives for that. The current syndication system where everything gets put in the MLS and all these companies, Redfin, Zillow, Realtor.com, they pay money to the MLS to access the data and then present it how they want on their websites. It's called IDX. It is a very efficient system, and it does get the most amount of listings to the most buyers. It does, and that is a fact. What it does do is it leaves room for lazy agents. Unfortunately, it is easy to just get your real estate license, be an amateur, sell a couple houses a year, make some nice money, and not really do a good job for your clients. And so that's an unfortunate side effect of this system. The bottom 50% of real estate agents really should not be here. They're not professionals. Before the online MLS system was a thing, and before MLS book, printed book from the early 2000s, the 90s, was a thing, steering was much more common. That is also a fact. If you were potentially a race prejudice broker, you could just not show them listings where you didn't want them to live, right? Because they didn't know what was or was not available. But now with today's system, people can see that information online, and we're glad overall that folks have access to that information, because it's making it so that it is harder to discriminate in that way. Another perspective to consider here is with Zillow coming out and saying, hey, we're only going to market listings that are on the MLS. They have skin in the game too. Their reason for taking that stance, maybe they do really care about fair housing, absolutely, but they care about their bottom line, and they get all of their listings from the MLS. And if the MLS ever truly collapsed and we were no longer one central marketplace and we went to anything goes type world, Zillow would probably not be making as much money and could potentially disappear forever. So what about my opinion? Well, I kind of fall in the gray. I don't take one side super hard over the other. I really see merit to both sides of the argument, and I'm going to be really interested to see where things hash out. A trade group, National Association of Realtors is who we're referring to, that demands that everyone who uses our professional services has to market their home a certain way or do it this certain one rigid way is, in my opinion, a infringement of personal choice. The clear cooperation policy causes issues. It does. We have clients every year, seller clients, who say they want more privacy. They want to sell off market. They want to put flyers out first. And we can't do it. And it's dumb because it's their house. They should be able to sell it that way if they want to. On the flip side, the MLS, the multiple listing services, and IDX syndication, how everything gets out to all those sites, is the most efficient way to get the most buyers and the most sellers to connect and to get the most eyeballs on a listing. And that's just a fact because that's where everyone's looking. It's one central marketplace. Most other countries have a way more fragmented market where it's really, you got to know who's who, you got to have inside connections, and way more trades, quote, off market than on market. I think that if we went to a purely off market model, then we would see what I call the rich and the rest, right? People who are more wealthy, more well connected, they'll have more opportunities, therefore they'll get more properties, therefore they'll get more opportunities. And so it will create a wider barrier, a wider gap, and it will create a bigger barrier to entry, especially for those first-time homebuyers. This is actually currently how commercial real estate operates. Most things sell off-market, and the barrier to entry in commercial real estate as a owner of commercial real estate is incredibly high because you have to have those connections. To be fair, we do sell off-market properties every year, and we enjoy doing that for our buyers and sellers. We love offering that as an option, but that's about 10% of our business annually, not the majority. I think that overall clear cooperation policy should loosen up a little bit so that sellers have more choice because it is their home. They should be able to sell it generally how they want. We still need rules. We still, need to have some sort of order. But overall, the MLS system would be a disgrace to see the MLS system fall. Having one central marketplace overall is what is going to be best for the most amount of buyers and sellers. I think the last thing I'll share is buying and selling is very situational. And so whatever ends up happening with this is not going to be best for everyone. There's going to be certain groups that it favors and certain groups that it doesn't work out so well for. But I guess that's just the way of the world, right? People have opposing interests. So that's just kind of life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video about clear cooperation, what's going on with Compass, what's going on with Zillow right now. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. And of course, if you need help professionally selling or buying a home in Vancouver, Camas, or Clark County, Washington, myself and my team at Dubyne Realtor Group would love to serve you. Text or email us. Our contact information is down below, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.